songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
How you use your data is up to you. With the widest network coverage, it's amazing what you can do on MTN.
This is my message to you.
One Zambia, one nation. Hello and welcome to this broadcast of the main news. This is Znbc TV1. With the news, my name is Pennipher Sikainda-Nyirenda alongside Isabel Banda, our sign language interpreter. Here are the top stories. President Edgar Lungu has held private talks at State House with Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa's special envoy, General Constantino Chiwenga. Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampyongo has urged the police service to enhance constitutional order, discipline and professionalism. Zambia Air Force Commander Lieutenant General Eric Chimese has praised the men and women in uniform for supporting efforts by the Ministry of Health to combat cholera. And also coming up in the news, defending champions Zesco United will meet Nkana in the final of the 2018 Sanyo Zumundlovu Charity Shield. Well, thank you so much for your time, and now the news in detail. President Edgar Lungu has held private talks at State House with Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa's special envoy, General Constantino Chiwenga. The meeting between the two leaders lasted close to an hour. General Chiwenga, who is also Zimbabwe's vice president, discussed several issues that are of concern to both countries. Speaking after the meeting, Minister of Foreign Affairs Joe Malanji said during the talks, Zimbabwe showed willingness to join the Kazungula Bridge construction project that is being implemented by Zambia and Botswana. Mr. Malanji told Znbc News that issues to do with the upcoming elections in Zimbabwe were also discussed. He says today's meeting was a follow-up on the discussions that were held by President Lungu and President Mnangagwa.
I was just saying to my brother.
And as you may know, Zimbabwe is scheduled to have an election soon. So his counterpart in Zimbabwe, and of course our president still having their bilateral consultative meetings. Those are coming from their previous meeting, which was about 3 weeks ago. So it's from that platform that they want to cement relations. You know, Zimbabwe and Zambia are two countries which can't be separated even by an advanced surgeon.
Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampyongo has urged the police service to enhance constitutional order, national security, discipline and professionalism. Mr. Kampyongo says besides having good policing strategies, members of the community deserve efficiency and professional conduct by the men and women in uniform. Speaking during this year's commemoration of the Zambia Police Day held today, Mr. Kampyongo praised the police for demonstrating courage and selflessness in executing their duties. We have more on this story in this report.
Known for their core duty of maintaining law and order, The Zambia Police Service has commemorated their day, which falls on 4th March every year. The aim of the day is to celebrate their existence and interact with the public. Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampyongo graced the occasion and urged the men and women in uniform to uphold professionalism.
That I wish to urge you, Inspector General of Police, to ensure that even in our quest to protect constitutional order and national security, discipline and professionalism must be enhanced in the service. I wish to assure you of continued support from the government by improving your welfare through construction of decent housing units and office accommodation.
Inspector General of Police Kakoma Kanganja explains the significance of commemorating the day.
We provide a service, and members of the society are our clients and partners in the fight against crime. Sir, our future plans are that all police stations and posts across the country commemorate this day at respective formations so that members of the public in the neighborhood can have easy access to information during this day.
And Mr. Kampyongo toured stands representing the different departments of the police service. This year's Police Day was commemorated under the theme, Police and the Community, working together in preventing and combating crime and creating a free and clean environment. Mary Kachepa, Znbc News, Lusaka.
In a related development, Quito District Commissioner Binwo Mpundu has directed traffic police officers to operate within their mandate and confines of the law. Mr. Mpundu says government has issued directives relating to the way roadblocks and police patrols must be carried out. He was speaking during activities to mark this year's Police Open Day, where he also urged officers against engaging themselves in partisan politics. More in this report.
Is not all. Mr. Mpundu is asking the Zambia Police Service to create a good relationship with members of the public. Edwin Chisi is Quito Police Commissioner.
In order to effectively and efficiently execute our mandate, the institution has realized the need to continue in increasing its levels of transparency and accountability in its operation to maximize on quality public service delivery. The institution performance can greatly improve if it receives timely and constructive feedback from the community it serves.
Inmates from Kamfinsa Correction Facility were on hand to provide entertainment. The officers also took time to showcase their various drills. Lillian Kalaba, Znbc News, Kitwe.
Now, experts from Mamba Collieries in Sinazongo district are working round the clock to restore both water and storage services to residents after floods uprooted and swept away the main water supply and storage disposal lines servicing the mine residential area. This was after the Kazinze River burst its banks, flooding nearby houses, roads and damaging other community infrastructure, such as bridges. Azani's news crew that rushed to Mamba found mine engineers doing temporary works to restore water supply from Lake Kariba to Mamba Mine. We have details in the following report.
Has hit Mamba Mine in Sinazongwe district after floods caused by incessant rains washed away main supply lines from Lake Kariba to Mamba Mine township and also uprooted sewerage pipelines servicing mine residential areas. The floods also submerged houses and swept away household goods as the strong water current carrying big logs and other objects swept through submerged houses, polarizing life in Mamba, with Kabanana New Township being the worst hit area.
Kitchen utensils, or electric appliances. I think I can say maybe everything was swept out, except those that actually found nearby just to take them back again.
But wakajulira byodo zintu zakatalika kwenka zisani ziyabana ziyakala hansi mabusu ziyakuchikolo ibusu bukuti mubugwishe bwateta mbonyo bwamenda kuzunda wabulekeze bwayinka so tulomba lugwasho umfulumende.
Mamba Collieries Limited is mitigating the disaster by supplying untreated water using 4 water bowsers to residents.
But the sewer line was completely cut off, and we are worried that if it's not restored as quickly as possible, then maybe we can have an outbreak of cholera. Right now, one would assume that the sewer discharge is into the stream, and you know this is a recipe for cholera. But like I've said, we have deployed about 4 water bowsers which are supplying water to various communities within our township.
Meanwhile, experts at Mamba Collieries are working round the clock to restore both water and sewerage services.
So on Wednesday morning, we found that the entire thing is washed off, along with the steel pipeline, original structure and the steel pipeline. We could not even trace them. So MCL immediately decided that we will put in our resources and manpower to restore the water supply to the township.
The discharge of raw sewerage effluent into the adjacent Kanzinza stream is surely a time bomb. It is only hoped that current efforts to restore water and sewerage services will avert a possible outbreak of serious waterborne disease. Mike Munkombwe, Zanis, Ilimamba, Sinazongwe District, Southern Province.
Zambia Air Force Commander Lieutenant General Eric Chimese has commended the men and women in uniform for supporting efforts by the Ministry of Health to combat cholera. Lieutenant General Chimese says despite numerous challenges, the men and women in uniform have managed to bring sanity to the city of Lusaka. He says their efforts need to be recognized by all well-meaning Zambians. The Air Force Commander has also appealed to the men and women in uniform to be patient with members of the public when carrying out duties. Lieutenant General Chimese was speaking at the Zambia Air Force Lusaka-based 2017 Officers Annual Ball in Lusaka last evening.
From what I've gathered, what I've seen, it is very evident that the general public is in support of our efforts. All those who stay in these places where we've had this problem are all in support of our efforts of making sure that the city remains clean. So as you work with the community, I implore you to be gentle. I'm aware that you are not fully trained to interact with the general public in terms of civil issues, policing, society, but as well-trained men and women, I'm convinced that handling an issue of this nature should not be a problem, and you can still do it.
Chief Mwanatete of Luampa District in Western Province has urged Zambians to shun individuals who want to plant seeds of disunity. The traditional leader says those who advocate for violence and hate speech do not love the country. Chief Mwanatete says Zambians should learn from what is happening in neighboring countries and safeguard the peace that the country has continued to enjoy over the years. He told Znbc News that there will be no development if the country's peace is lost due to careless statements from a few individuals. And in a separate interview with Znbc News, Chief Mwene Mutondo of the Nkoya people of Kahoma District says peace is key to national development, hence the need for it to be cherished by all Zambians. Well, at this point, we take our first commercial break. We have more news coming up. Stay tuned.
Difficult kwasira waenda. It's over. Wachuka kuchimbuzi kuja barefoot. Kubwera yapa kasi isimani yako shua. Nikuona yapa no samba na kumanja. Uyamba chape kuitema simu. Uchoke hapa na kuona na mango. No suka mango wayamba kuti.
Yes.
Kaya matenda yako leo yesi. Nikamba matenda yako leo usi wakuti ya ambazo.
Nambe rap.
Kaya difficult. Kaya manzi yomwe hukumu ayo. Ni yopwatusa ni chlorinated olokapena ni mineral water ija ya kasiubu na kweli.
Nikisini hapa pa chiwaelo pa mgoti. Ndio metimamu azaka na maezi.
Difficulty. Aya matenda yako lera libe chibwenzi. Ndaba nisakuname ine ni usi na mineral water ija ina kasiu. Olongatisi hapo chlorinated water olo safe clean water. Kwa siri. Yo mwefunika kusamba kumanja.
Iwe ine na question mozo. Kaya kulomwa fako na cholera. Ati kuliwa mina fako.
Bamene wafani wambiri mwati mbaberenga nyuzi mu. Ati waberenga po nyuzi lero. Ni bambiri bamwalira. Kaya hapa umvera sumbera ko vili vonse mara. Ni kama kulibe famina umvera ko.
Umvera du?
Ni amene zaona.
This message is brought to you as a joint effort by Ministry of Health and Trade Kings Foundation. Trade Kings, improving lives.
Stay connected to the world and catch up with the latest from the comfort of your own home with our new data plans on Zamtel Home Package, which provide you with uninterrupted high-speed connectivity and giving you world-class reliable internet through ADSL, fiber to the home, or LTE. Get it today by either sending a WhatsApp to 095,000 3074 or simply walking into a Zamtel store countrywide.
Now that is Zamtelligent. Terms and conditions apply.
Zamtel. Live life today.
Bill.
What? Kitchen! Do it!
Just one drop of Boom Sparkle Plus with Triple Power formula takes care of everything. One bottle of Boom Sparkle Plus will shine 1,000 dishes. Enriched with lemon and aloe vera. Now that's 1,000 reasons to choose Boom Sparkle Plus. Trade Kings, improving lives.
When you have the will, the sky is the limit. When others give up, I give more. I have been assigned this mountain to show others it can be moved. I found the way, I built the way, and I led the way. Run, jump, fight like never before. I run, I jump,
Fight like there is no tomorrow. And tomorrow, I will get up and do it all over again. I'm the winner, and my will is to win. And this is my push to reach the sky. Wildcat, untamed energy. Hervé Renat.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
We continue with the news. PF Secretary General Davis Mwila has reiterated his call on party members to embrace those joining the party. Mr. Mwila says politics is about numbers, adding that the PF is growing every day. Mr. Mwila said this when he officially launched the 2018 party mobilization campaign for Muchinga province at Chinsali Girls Secondary School in Chinsali. We have details in the following report.
Patriotic Front PF Party Chief Davis Mwila arrives in Chinsali, district of Muchinga province, thunderous welcome. Mr. Mwila, accompanied by the party's media director Sande Chanda, is in the province to launch the 2018 party mobilization campaign. Addressing the delegates, Mr. Mwila says the ruling party is the people's party of choice in Zambia and that it will rule the country even beyond 2021, but that what is needed is to have discipline, unity and peace in the party.
Ilo naishire kuno kuchinsali kwali kutonsana ilio twafumile mukusala fye kuma election lelo kwali kuikala panshi ilio nalandile nabo ilo na bachairman ne bumba lyabo lyayingilamu pakutilo mutende wise muno muchinsali ndechetekela uyuweni omutende eufule wabana muchama yonse ama district. We want peace. We want unity in the party.
Mr. Mwila also paid glowing tributes to the party members in Mchinga for ensuring that the party won in all the 10 constituencies in the province in the 2016 general elections.
And Mr. Chairman, you managed to scoop all the 10 constituencies, which is not a mean achievement.
Party officials, councillors, council chairmen and members of parliament from all the 9 districts in the province attended the launch. Jonathan Mka reporting for Zanis News in Chinsali, Muchinga province.
Copperbelt Minister Jaffer Mwakalombe says there is no need for competition among government officials. Mr. Mwakalombe, however, says government officials should instead work together to implement the 7th National Development Plan and deliver on the many promises made to Zambians during the 2016 elections. Speaking when he featured on the PF Media Interactive Forum in Lusaka today, Mr. Mwakalombe said time for politicking is over and that he is looking forward to working with all members of Parliament on the Copperbelt for sustainable development.
In the spirit of competition, I am not going to be comparable to anyone because there is a document that is already existing, which is the 7th National Development Plan. All I'm going to do is to complement other leaders. When I go to the Copperbelt, I'm not going to force people to work. I'm not going to compete with anyone. I'm going to ensure that I work with everyone. I want to carry everyone on board so that we can have meaningful development, because I am not going there to transform Copperbelt. Copperbelt cannot be transformed by Mwakalombe. What Mwakalombe can do is to go and join in and be able to put his input so that we can be able to carry Copperbelt forward. So to me, all of us, we are not in the competition. We are not in the competition. We are complementing the thing that we are going to do is to serve the people of the Copperbelt. That's the reason why in my speech I said I'm not going to Copper Belt. I cannot say I'm going to Copper Belt to transform. Copper Belt has had the GDP, which is high, from the time even since before independence. So I cannot come today myself and come and claim that I raised the GDP for Copper Belt.
First Lady Esther Lungu has hailed Starkey Hearing Foundation for helping the country record a reduction in the number of people with hearing impairment. Mrs. Lungu has since pledged continuous support in restoring the hearing of people who feel they are losing their hearing in collaboration with the foundation. She was speaking at the Starkey Hearing Foundation dinner in Lusaka last evening. And speaking at the same event, Minister of Health Chitalo Chilufya said the lives of millions of Zambians have transformed through such partnerships and efforts of the First Lady through the Esther Lungu Foundation Trust.
This is a job that has been given to all of us. All of us have a duty. All of us can restore one's health. We can do something to put somebody into life. The hearing that you are doing, Bill and Tani, is giving communication.
And you impact the world. Please keep up your good heart. You sum it up more in your good words when you say, if it is good, do it. Sharing humanity. Great words.
Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Administration Kennedy Malama says government has identified an institution where to train audiologists to improve hearing care services in the country. Dr. Malama says the government is working with local and international partners through a public-private partnership arrangement to train personnel and improve hearing care services. He says government, through the Ministry of Health, has also created positions for audiology services in the new structures. Efim Pande has more in this report.
Imagine a world without sound and the frustration of trying to express what one feels. This is what deaf people go through on a daily basis. Although problems associated with a complete lack of hearing might seem obvious, there are many difficulties deaf people face.
What he has actually been saying is that, yes, if we are to help or to bring all deaf people on board, one, sign language should actually be more like in all the colleges, schools, institutions of governance.
Elizabeth Chimba has severe hearing loss. She lost hearing in 2011 after suffering from meningitis. Her father brought her to Bedcure Hospital to have her ears fitted with hearing aids.
From hospital. After probably 2 days. Tuambokula muita Eliza tunevetale umfu aleafi Eliza bonse bale muita panganda tale umfu so lo bashandebera uyu mwana uyu pashe pita 1 week uyu tomfu uyu so bali sempre drip ya kuinini yo actually umbika after inshalo meningitis.
But how does one become deaf?
I think the commonest is always earwax. The next one is a chronic ear infection, where children or even adults have again and again some discharge from the ear. This means that there is a hole in the eardrum, and because of that they are very prone to recurrent infections. So an infection comes in the ear again and again, and this causes quite some major hearing impairment. Then we have the old age hearing impairment, so people who are aging, they also tend to lose part of their hearing. And then we have another group which are younger people that have gotten, because of some medications, deafness, or even what is actually very much these days on the rise. Everybody has their personal devices, put the gadgets in the ears, sits in the minibus, and for sure you don't want to listen to anybody else, and then they put up the volume very high, and this makes a lot of noise-induced hearing loss, especially in the younger generation.
There are over 900,000 Zambians with hearing impairment, disabling hearing impairment.
We've already identified where people can be trained as audiologists, and we are working with partners outside the country and also in the country. You know, for us to improve, we are looking at this from the public-private partnership perspective, because we know there are comparative advantages also in the private sector, so we need to bring our heads together.
With the necessary support, deaf people are capable of doing things that hearing people can do. Helen Keller, who was the first deaf and blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree, proved to the world that deaf people could all learn to communicate and survive in the hearing world. Efim Pandey, Znbc News, Lusaka.
Well, time now for our second break. We have more news coming up. Do stay with us.
Come in, have a seat.
Mnyumba Moganim Hotel. You must be paying Amakelinda very well.
Of course I pay her well. She has to work for her money, you know how it is.
But have you registered her for NAPSA?
NAPSA, even domestic workers?
Yes, even domestic workers.
I didn't know that.
Of course. So you have to register your domestic workers with NAPSA and pay their monthly contribution.
Wandi, thank you.
It is law to register your domestic workers with NAPSA. Come to any of our branches or our head office at Levy Park, or log on to www.napsa.co.zm. NAPSA, guaranteed social security.
NAPSA.
Life is a journey, beginning with small steps that grow more confident as we expand our view of the world, shaping our futures, laying solid foundations, and fulfilling our dreams as we succeed in life for wealth and security, now and into the future. Let's make success. Atlas Mara, reshaping African banking.
Tiende pamodzi ndi mtima umodzi.
Tianjane ndi banja limodzi. Atwenda ntomwe amoyo omwe.
Tianiponga tuzenge insi.
Zambia, the promised land. We'll together achieve our dreams.
Zambia, the promised land. If we believe we can all achieve. Nahayaluna ifuyozi.
Nangu tupusane mtundu twabanga banga ndaimo.
Wira dzanja langati yanjane limo. Iwe ndine zikola wafulu.
Zambia, the promised land. We'll together achieve our dreams.
Zambia, the promised land. If we believe we can all achieve.
Zambia, the promised land. We'll together achieve our dreams. Zambia, the promised land.
Thank you for staying with us. We continue with the news. Zambia's ambassador to Germany, Anthony Mukwita, says 36 Zambian exhibitors are expected at the 2018 International Tourism Bourse. This is the Global Travel and Tourism Show, which opens on 6th of March in the German capital, Berlin. Mr. Mukwita says Zambian exhibitors will showcase the country's best sights, sounds and cultural heritage the country has to offer as the best tourist destination. We have more in this report by the Zambian Embassy in Germany.
This is the city of Berlin, which in the next few days becomes a hive of activity as it plays host to one of the most prestigious travel and tourism shows in the world. More than 100,000 visitors are expected, representing about 180 countries. One of those 180 countries will have a special place at the travel showpiece, and that country is Zambia, because it is the convention and culture partner. Her Space 4 exhibition is larger than most countries, and she will be playing a prominent role in the convention center, where discussions regarding travel and tourism takes place.
From the list that I can look at here, we have a confirmed list of exhibitors of up to 36. This means that this show has been doubly oversubscribed.
Sadam Mukwita says when visitors come to Berlin, there are places of significance that they visit that include the Berlin Wall, that until 1989 separated East Germany from West Germany. They also visit the famous checkpoint Charlie that served as a border between the two Germans. This is the Holocaust Memorial, reminding visitors of the millions of Jews that were killed during the Hitler reign of terror. Hundreds of visitors gaze upon its concrete slabs representing those that lost their lives then. The Zambian envoy says, having seen such places, the Germans expect you to take a piece of German with you in your heart. In the same way, Ambassador Mukwita says Zambians exhibiting at the 2018 ITB show should ensure the world goes with a piece of Zambia in their hearts.
They must make sure that they come and exhibit something which people out here, which the more than 100,000 people that will be walking out through the Messe Berlin can take back with them. Hence the importance of this theme, Take Zambia with You.
On its part, the Zambian envoy in Germany says the embassy will be releasing its inaugural Mission Quarterly magazine, which will feature never-before-seen photographs of President Edgar Lungu sampling some of Zambia's tourist sites.
We want the people that will walk through the Messe Berlin to take Zambia with them, to take a piece of the nation with them, to see the Zambian president fishing, to see the Zambian president game viewing.
This is the first time since Zambia began coming to ITB that she is participating as convention and culture partner.
In more news, Minister of Justice Znbc has called on the corporate world to step in and support the hosting of the 2018 Kuomboka ceremony. Mr. Luwinda says much as the government pours resources towards the hosting of traditional ceremonies, there is need for all stakeholders to help the royal establishments organize their cultural events. Mr. Luwinda said this in a speech read on his behalf by Minister of Northwestern Province Nathaniel Mubukwanu at the Kuomboka fundraising dinner in Livingstone last night. We have more in this report.
The date for the hosting of the 2018 Kuomboka ceremony is drawing near. Though the actual date has not yet been announced, events such as this fundraising dinner held at Limpos Pub and Grill in Livingstone are an indication that the 2018 Kuomboka ceremony is just half a step away. Minister of Justice Luwinda, in a speech delivered by the Minister of the Northwestern Province, Nathaniel Mubukwanu, has appealed to the corporate world to step in and support the successful hosting of the 2018 Kuomboka ceremony.
The Kuomboka ceremony on its own cannot be successfully held without the support of all people of goodwill. Like the national chairperson of the National Organizing Committee said, the government does allocate some resources, but those might not be adequate
to cater for the increasing and growing needs of hosting such ceremonies in the entire Republic. Most and oftentimes, we run to the corporate institutions to stand in and support such ceremonies.
The National Kuomboka Kufuluhela Organizing Committee is also appealing for financial and material support from all stakeholders.
Over the years, the Kuomboka has grown beyond borders as it is one of the biggest events in the country. The ceremony attracts a lot of people within and outside the country. Hosting of the ceremony has become a big challenge to all concerned. To this effect, we have had various presentations from stakeholders on the need to improve on facilities during the event.
Over 40,000 kwacha is said to have been raised through cash donations and pledges at this year's Kuomboka fundraising dinner, which was covered in a suit of entertainment. Justin Akakuluberwa, Znbc News, Livingstone.
Now, Zambia has today joined the rest of the world in commemorating the International Children's Day of Broadcasting, ICDB, which falls every first Sunday of March. This year's theme is Children and Information and Communication Technology, ICT. And today, children took charge of programming at most electronic media institutions in Lusaka, including Znbc. We now look at some of the activities that the children were up to here at Znbc on their special day.
Welcome to the main news. It is the International Children's Day of Broadcasting. We take a look at the headlines. Children from all walks of life visit the State House. Znbc joins the rest of the world to observe International Children's Day of Broadcasting. Some children share their rights with the media. To present the news in detail, my name is Vukotanguluve. A number of children worldwide take part in International Children's Day of Broadcasting. Some children had an opportunity to visit State House and share their views with the First Lady, Esther Lungu. Samantha Chitwanga has details in this report.
It is the International Children's Day of Broadcasting. A number of children from different backgrounds have come here to share their views with our First Lady, Madam Esther Lungu. How would you describe the access to ICT by children in Zambia?
Indeed, information and communication technologies, that's ICTs, are important in achieving our developmental goals and also promoting citizen participation. And Zambia is one of the countries in the world that has made ICT part of its development agenda.
Znbc joins the rest of the world in observing International Children's Day of Broadcasting. Controller of radio at Znbc, Rose Konkola, explains that the institution has lined up a number of programs for the children as it goes digital. Our staffer Waliamwelwa brings us the interview.
What has been ZNBC's role in promoting International Children's Day of Broadcasting?
Well, Mwewa, we've been celebrating International Children's Day of Broadcasting with children since 1991. And since that time, we've been inviting children to come and participate in programming here. They interview policymakers, they interview each other. Children produce programs for children so that on that day, we can see the potential that our children are capable of having in producing programs.
A number of children from all walks of life flocked into Znbc to have an experience of how the media operates. Some of them had an opportunity to go in the edit department and learn how to edit programs, while others were taken to the newsroom to see how the news stories are prepared. Some children from Queen Victoria School who visited ZNBC shared their experience.
When I came at ZNBC, I saw cameras. We were on TV and we were talking on microphones and we saw a doctor.
That brings us to the end of the main news. My name is Wukota Ngulube. Good night.
Well done to all the children, and we do look forward to yet another exciting ICDB. With that, we take our very last break, and join me shortly for sports news.
It's gonna be a happy, happy day. Everybody happy, happy day. Stangalale, happy, happy day. So have yourself a happy, happy day. Oh, I'm happy when I'm dancing now and Zangawalipo. Singing the happy song, it is very simple. Sekelela iwe mpaka ya choke madimpo. Happy apple. Oh, it's gonna be a happy, happy day. Tell everybody happy, happy day. Sangalali, happy, happy day. We gonna have a happy, happy day.
Have an happy day with Happy Apple and Happy Grapple with real fruit juice.
It's gonna be a happy, happy day. Everybody happy, happy day. Sangalali, happy, happy day.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
Agritech, Zambia's leading agriculture outdoor expo, will take place from 12th to 14th April 2018 in Chisamba. ZNBC, your national broadcaster, will be there to give you maximum stand coverage and exposure at very attractive sponsorship rates. What are you waiting for? Grab that phone and call our sales and marketing team on 252-005.
It's all about you this year on Zambia's #1 network with our new delicious offer. MTN Matebeto. We tebeta you with more data at crazy low prices to satisfy your appetite for data bundles. Muzadya Mzalema bundles with up to 82% off on our bundle prices. Enjoy the fastest internet speeds on a network that actually works. And stay connected all the time at your own convenience. Go on, dial *335# to buy a bundle and get browsing, streaming, uploading, and downloading like you've never experienced before. Lelo Dwami Tebeta.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Shanti Production and Publishing House, in conjunction with ZNBC, brings to your disposal 2 new through-the-charts must-see movies on DVD. It's the romance of a church girl and a bad boy in spiritual bounce.
For the past 1 week, you haven't touched me. David! Davis, whatever they call you, get out of my house before you make me sin. Yo, man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
And it's in Congole, Mapresha, Kankali Dwe, Baza Ulie, in Sempia's Mukalale. Get these brand new DVDs while they last at any of the ZNBC outlets across the country. In Livingston,
all the Lusaka ZNBC outlets.
Kitwe, Solwezi, Chipata, and all the sound stores across the country. Ladies, what are you waiting for? Spice up your homes with romance and laughter with spiritual bounce and mukalale. Be Zambian, by Zambian.
And Now in sports news, defending champions Zesco United will meet Nkana in the final of the 2018 Samuel Ndlovu Charity Shield. This is after the Ndola side beat NAPSA Stars by 3-2 in a semi-final match played over 2 days. The match between the two teams was yesterday abandoned in the 63rd minute with scores at 1-0 as the pitch got waterlogged after heavy rains. And today the remaining minutes were played at 13 hours at the same venue, and it was Zesco United who scored first through Bonwo Silengo, who completed his brace from another spectacular free kick to lead the game 2-1 with 9 minutes to go. However, NAPSA had other intentions as Luka Lungu rose high to head the equalizer with 4 minutes to go. And as everyone thought the match would go to penalties, there was drama after NAPSA Stars goal minder Bola Masosa deliberately hit Zesco United striker Dev Daka in the box after clearing the ball. Referee Wisdom Chewe awarded a penalty to Zesco after consulting his assistant and sent off Masosa to reduce NAPSA to 10 men. Mishek Chaila did not make a mistake for his side, converting the penalty in added time. And Zesco United coach Tenan Chembo was delighted with the result, while his counterpart Linus Makwaza expressed disappointment with his goalie's behavior. Zesco will now play Nkana in the final on Saturday. Meanwhile, Zambia Sports Fans Association patron Peter Makembo has called on Zambia's continental envoys to aim high as they play their first round fixtures this week.
To the three teams, we only urge them to say, pick a positive result. Fans' mentality, they'll go with a winning spree. This is why behind me you're able to...
Well, apologies for that abrupt end to the clip, and with that story we end the news. But just before we leave, here are the headlines again. President Edgar Lungu has held private talks at State House with Zimbabwean President Emerson Mnangagwa's special envoy, General Constantino Chiwenga. General Chiwenga, who is also Zimbabwe's vice president, discussed several issues that are of concern to both countries. Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampiongo has urged the police service to enhance constitutional order, discipline and professionalism. Speaking during this year's commemoration of the Zambia Police Day held today, Mr. Kampiongo praised the police for demonstrating courage and selflessness in executing their duties. Zambia Air Force Commander Lieutenant General Eric Chimesi has praised the men and women in uniform for supporting efforts by the Ministry of Health to combat cholera. Lieutenant General Chimesi says despite numerous challenges, the men and women in uniform have managed to bring sanity to the city of Lusaka. And finally, defending champions Zesco United will meet Nkana in the final of the 2018 Samuel Ndlovu Charity Shield. This is after the Ndola side beat NAPSA Stars by 3-2 in a semi-final match which was played over 2 days. That's it for the news this hour. Thank you so much for your company. Remember that you can log on to znbc.co.zm for more news. On behalf of the crew on duty, this is Pennipher Nyirenda saying goodbye and God bless you.
You know I'm a slay queen, Kylie. I have to keep the game on point. If the laundry is to slay. In a